nervous.
No, I use soft and dry.
I'm already laughing. Here we go, guys.
I use soft and dry. I'm never nervous. Nervous is why you use soft and dry.
Ladies and gentlemen, have we got a show for you tonight? Of course, I'm Doc G, and this is called the Mayor of Rock and Roll and Friends. And tonight's guest has been a little bit of everywhere. And I want to give a disclaimer because some of the language may not be for young adults. Just remember.
No, don't be ridiculous. People always say that. I was on the Stern Show for 18 years, and I never got bleeped, and nobody remembers. It wasn't the Wild and Woolly West of Sirius XM. We were bound by FCC rules. You couldn't curse or do anything. Right. So we basically danced right up to the line for 18 years and never. It's like saying, "Hey, we're having dinner with my grandmother. Don't curse." What do you think? I'm an idiot?
No.
Of course not.
Oh, there we go. Well, anyway, here is Sal Searchia.
So all I gotta say is fuck your rules.
Here we go.
Hey, you know what?
Now we got to see.
Gene, you asked for it because he wouldn't have cursed if you didn't say that.
No, of course not. Of course not.
You just burnt my sister's ears. Cheryl Dobbins says hello, Jackie.
Oh, I love Cheryl. Red. Hey, Red, how are you? Oh.
He's not Cheryl.
Not yet.
So we got Brother Jackie on. Jackie's a Long Island guy.
Listen, I'm going to tell you one more thing, Sal. If you call me Brother Jackie one more time, I am going to poke your eyes out. My God, I feel like I'm in a goddamn Mormon convention.
He calls me Brother Fran. Don't feel bad.
Jesus, Brother Jackie. Like I'm not your brother. Relative. I'm not even your sister. I'm your friend Jackie.
Brother, okay, brother. Uncle Jackie.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother. Yeah,
baby. Jeez, enough.
Hey, wait. Jackie just had a birthday, February 14th. So
yeah, I saw
happy
that.
Happy birthday, Brother Jackie.
Happy birthday, Jackie.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, just passed. He's only what, 22 now, 23?
Valentine's Day. Wow, that's
59.
Cool.
59 big ones.
Wow.
Jackie's been around. Jackie was, I don't know if you guys know, but Jackie was in the music before he got into comedy and acting and all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. I read that. You did music. That's cool.
Yeah, I was a musician until I found out I wasn't any good. Then I figured I'd try something else.
That's usually what happens.
You write your songs and you sing and you
that
do
happened
your
to
whole
Steve
thing.
Thompson when he realized how bad he was on guitar. He became a producer instead,
Same old thing.
Who's that? Oh, look at all these people.
Irene, hi.
Hi, Irene.
She's a fan of ours.
Look at
hi, Irene.
Jackie,
so
you're bringing
far
on
we
a
got
lot of people here.
Two girls. That's good.
Yeah.
How do I look, Cheryl?
She says, "Happy V-Day Day."
Happy VD Day.
I thought, funny. Oh, Jesus. Happy VD Day?
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I met Cheryl when I was doing a movie where it was like some kind of version of A Christmas Carol where there was a Scrooge and.
Oh, I did that too. I was in that with her. That was in Bethpage.
Yeah. It was great fun.
I was in that with her. Yes.
Cool.
What did she say? Yeah. What did she say? Sexy what?
Sexy panel. We're sexy panel.
Yeah, Scroogey, she said. Yep.
Scrooge.
Jackie, you're getting all the babes. Jackie's getting all the chicks tonight, man. What's going on?
What did you think? Of course.
Usually the girls go after me, but I guess my hair, I got to dye it again. But it's a little gray.
you really should probably shave your head.
I got to do something.
Shave your ass and walk on your hands.
Walk backwards. Shave my ass and walk backwards. Brother Jackie. Oh, I can't.
Oh, you said again. Brother, you're gonna get it. You better watch out.
He's gonna be pissed at you.
I think he has like a calendar in every room that says 1968.
Yeah, I think
actually.
So too.
No, I one room I have 1967. Another room's in 66. Then the other room has the Beatles and Elvis to remind me of the 65. So, and I got Elvis on
Jeez.
tonight. See, Elvis, my man, Elvis is on. Yeah,
Jesus.
I'll keep the hair.
So,
She said. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
not
so
gonna take it
I
off.
want to.
But I almost
ask you
forget
a
about it.
question. I want to ask you a question. So I read up a little bit on your bio, right? But first
Are you
of all,
talking to me or
yeah, I'm
brother
talking to
Sal?
you. Talking to you, not
All
Sal.
right.
Sal's just back there, just busting my ass and talking.
He's still filtering stuff.
So
Yeah.
you did private parts with oh God, we were just talking about him, and I went complete. Howard Stern, right? Were you in that movie, or you wrote it? What were you doing with that?
Look
I
at that. She
was
didn't even watch it.
Shut up.
I was in that movie and had the funniest line in the entire movie that nobody remembers, and it was great fun. One of the high points of working on that show was doing that movie. It was really fun.
Yeah, because I mean, I haven't seen it. I know people that watched it. I never did watch it. And now I am gonna watch it because
How could
I'm a
you
little-
not? You know, that was the Stern Show was such
I
a
know.
slice.
Well, I used to
slice
listen
of,
to it.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Right, Queens, Brooklyn, and I live on Long Island.
Jesus Christ! You're from the tri-state area, and you didn't watch the Howard Stern
I
movie.
did.
And people that hated him went to see that movie just out of curiosity.
I
And they
never
all
watched
walked
the
out
movie.
of there going, "Holy Christ, I can't believe how good that movie was."
It was really
I
good.
listen to him all the time. Now I don't because now he's on my list. But anyway, but so I saw that and I said, wow, that's cool. But then there's another thing I have to ask you. It said you're a songwriter, right? And it says you have the pot song, the beer song, and the fool's
Oh
gold.
Jesus! Now you're in trouble. Now you're.
Now I
No,
gotta hear
these are,
this.
people go in and, go into your Wikipedia or whatever, or your IMDb and change everything around. Those are absolutely true. But people say that's the only songs they ever wrote. That's not true. But
No, I'm just
but
reading
they're
a
good
little
ones.
bit.
They're really good ones. And the best song I ever wrote is about pot, and it's hysterical. Didn't you go to put that on the Facebook page, Sal, and they yanked it off because it was too dirty? Is that right?
Oh, you mean I was a dirty one? Uh-oh, I've opened my big mouth.
No, it's great fun. It starts. I'm smoking pot. I got my dick out, and I'm thinking about you. And it's the greatest song in the world with the greatest musicians. It's the guitar player is Frank Vignola from Les Paul's band, and just great stuff. But beautiful.
But
I got some love songs. If you send me your emails, and I'll send you the songs you can decide on your own, right?
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, I want definitely. I'll send you my email, but that one made me. I almost peed in my pants.
Well,
I don't think a
song that we
song about
replaced-
I got my dick out is going to throw a girl from Queens. That unless you were raised in a closet, Come on.
My sister is like highly Christian, and she's like probably her ears are probably burning right now.
Tell her to beat on a log and pee into the wind, Christian. My God.
Well, I mean, you got Jackie the Joke Man Martling. You got to expect to hear these kind of jokes.
Oh
So,
yeah,
Yeah, serious.
No, hey, the reason I'm doing this, I'm doing a show Saturday night at the Suffolk, which is a terrific theater in Riverhead. And I've been there a bunch of times, but I haven't been there in a couple of years. I'm really looking forward to it. That's Saturday night, March 1st, 8:00 at the Suffolk. And there's also a guy from, I think he's from Baldwin, opening up for me, a young guy named Joe Cravella, who's a real good guy. I think I got to get an Italian on the bill if I want to get any of them in there, So
I
Yeah,
tried.
hey, I just signed up. I think I'm not sure I'm going to do it yet, but I just got called to do a thing called Paisan Con.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's like an Italian signing thing, and it's in May. And I think I'm probably going to do it. I'm not Italian, but I know all the Sopranos guys and all those Italian actors. I mean, I knew Vinny Pastore. I knew Big Pussy since like 1979.
Oh, wow.
I've been
I
around way
know
too
all
long.
those guys too. I know all of them also. Wow, they're always
been
there.
around way too long. Well, they've been around a long time too.
Yeah.
Did you ever
Yeah.
meet Don Rickles? Because I could see you two and him going head to head.
You know what? I didn't meet Rickles until maybe a year before one of his last shows he did at the Not the Bellagio. What's the place? The new place down new. It's probably 20 years old in Atlantic City. It's not the Bellagio. What's it called?
I don't know. No, you were just there. I don't know.
There's the Golden Nugget, the Borgata.
No, the brand new hotel. It's beautiful. But anyway, he did a show down there at the Music Box, and I was with a guy who knew him for 20 years. So we went backstage and got to shoot the breeze a little bit. I mean, he was older, but he's still sharp as a tack, still fun, really fun.
Oh yeah.
But I almost missed him. I would have liked to known him in his prime and hung a little bit, but I didn't get to.
But you did a lot of work with Howard Stern. I read up on that, and you did a lot of your IMDb page is pretty impressive. There's a lot of things on there, but you did work a lot with Howard Stern, and that.
I was a regular cast member. I was on.
Yeah.
All day, every day for 15 years. So.
Wow.
Oh wow.
It's so funny. Sometimes you say something that you've never said before, and you're like, I can't believe I never said that like that. But I was doing a podcast, and somebody said, "Do you still listen to Howard Stern?" And I honestly said to them, I said, the only time I've ever listened to him was when I was sitting across from him.
Oh, that was good.
I never listened to Best Of or anything, or listen to yourself. If we're on vacation, the last thing I was going to do was tune into that show. I mean, I loved doing every second of it, but when you were done, you hang up your pencil and walk out.
Yeah, it's like a job. Yeah.
And a lot of people stopped listening once you left.
Jackie. I'm sorry. Would somebody say something?
A lot of people that were listening to Jackie on Howard Stern, they left.
People tell me that, but of course I'm only going to hear that from the people that are going to tell me that, so I don't know if that's one person out of 20 or 19 out of 20, who knows, but that is very flattering. And thanks for saying that. Even if you're lying through your freaking teeth.
I'm Italian. I don't lie. Come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're Italian. We don't lie.
I always lie, even when I tell the truth.
I have another question. Hollywood Squares, I read that you were on. You did a few of those. That's impressive.
I did 2 weeks of those. I'm very proud to say. And I did not save. I save everything. And I didn't write down what it was. But one of my responses got edited out because it was something about underwear in a dumpster. Some really rude answer about Madonna. And Tom Bergeron said to me, "That's a little too much information, Jackie." I said, "Sorry, Tom." But it was great. I was on with Bruce Valanche, he was the center square. I wasn't on the originals. This was the second wave of Hollywood Squares when it was produced by Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh,
but I was on with some great people. We had, it's such a fun thing to do, and in 2 days you whip off all 5 shows, and and they fly you out and treat you like a king. So it was spectacular.
One question: did they give you the answers so you knew what?
They give you the answers, but you can write your own answers, and that's the fun is to come up with funny stuff, But it's very low key. It's just entertainment, just silly.
So you can pick while you look at. You go. I can answer the correct question, or I can pick my answer.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Carol, you got any questions for our friend?
Who have questions?
Well, you're drinking.
Me.
What, you want me to interview Sal? I still don't know what the fuck he does.
He doesn't know what he does.
Me? Forget about
it. I'm doing a movie, and this guy comes up who looks like he hasn't combed his hair since 1930. He says, "Hey, I'm the mayor of rock and roll." And I said, "Well, I'm the king of Pluto." What, Jesus Christ. Irene, Paul Lynde was very funny, but Paul Lynde was on the first Hollywood Squares.
Right.
I was on long after he stopped being gay.
Oh God, I remember.
He stopped being gay. I thought he was still gay.
He was always gay.
No, he used to be gay. Now he's dead.
Yeah, now he's dead.
Everything stops once they put you under there. I mean, God knows what he's doing under there. I don't know.
Oh,
I still
me-
can't think of the name of
crazy.
that. God, what's the name of that hotel?
The Taj Mahal?
No,
Taj Mahal?
Cheryl
So
said
funny.
Showboat. Was that right? Is that the one?
no.
That's
The
old.
hotel where
Showboat's old.
everybody works. The
Where everybody
Italian
works.
hotel where
I haven't been down there in a long time, so I couldn't tell you. Hard Rock.
I
I
was just
know.
there last week. I was
no,
Hard
it
Rock?
starts with
What
a
was
B.
that? Hard Rock?
The
Hard Rock?
The Borgata?
the Borgata.
Thank you. That's where my
I
son
said
goes.
that before.
My son goes there all the time. Okay, the
And I,
Borgata.
and I said that before. I said the Borgata.
You didn't say nothing.
Rewind the film.
Cheryl
I
said
was there last
Bellagio.
week.
We said that. He said no.
Oh, I
Bellagio.
give
You said
up.
Bellagio.
I can't
Borgata.
do it no more.
The Borgata. I started the comedy show there back. I was hired to do the comedy nights there, to book them by, not to book them, but to do the opening weekend by the guy that owned Pips, Ray Garvey, who was a great guy. Ray Garvey was the guy that owned Pips at the very end, and he was a cop, and he used to work like bodyguard stuff. And he bodyguarded on a few Woody Allen movies. And at some point, Woody Allen said to him, I want to put you in the movie. And he became friends with Woody Allen. And Ray Garvey was in about 10 of Woody Allen's movies in little tiny, tiny parts. He was a great guy. And one night we were all out getting drunk. And he said, listen, I just got the job of booking the Borgata. Will you do the opening weekend? I said, sure. So I did the opening weekend. And meanwhile, I'm fresh off the Stern show. So everybody knows, how off color and crazy I am. So I got a room half full of Stern people, but also what they do at a lot of those places, especially in the beginning, the little old ladies come to Atlantic City. They say, here's $100 to gamble, and here's a ticket to a show, and here's a few slots, blah, blah, blah. And it's all part of the package. And they go down the bus. So I got a room that's half full of Stern fans and half full of little old ladies. So I'm up there rattling off like crazy. And of course, half the little old ladies walked out. So by Sunday, I got it straight. So I got to the point where I was dancing right between. I had the little old ladies charmed, and I'm signing autographs. And then I got news that I would never be allowed back there.
Oh, God.
And it's so funny because all the Sopranos guys were there because it was opening weekend and Ray Garvey was tight with them. So Sharippa and the whole cast of characters had a big steak and then went down, had a great show. And then I was kicked out of the place until years later when Richie Minervini took it over. That was a beautiful room. Boy, that was a great, great place to see a show. Like, that's where I saw Rickles, just perfect for comedy, perfect for, it's not a big rock and roll venue that's ridiculous,
Like
so it's a
Sal
nice
goes to
size.
Hard Rock. Hard Rock is Sal.
No,
you were there.
actually, I was at the Borgata, and then I went to the Hard Rock just for a little while. They
okay.
have the Sugar Factory in there. My daughter likes the Sugar Factory in Hard Rock, so it's like it's hopping and skipping away. Everything's like right there,
What is the Sugar Factory? A dessert shop?
Candy.
Oh my God, it's like everything is made out of sugar. I mean, you get a drink like this here with the frozen ice, $45 for the drink.
Ugh.
And it's,
Jesus.
and it's frozen ice, and they pour it in there, and everything is, you order a milkshake, and it's got cake on top of it and cookies.
I quit drinking in 2001. I'd only go there if they had hookers.
yeah.
Thank
Doc
you.
G, your daughter is
Especially if
beautiful,
they're
sister.
only $45.
Thank you.
Now, me and Jackie, I don't know if you guys know, we did the movie called Send No Flowers together.
Oh,
Right.
okay. I didn't know you were in that with him.
Tell us about
Okay.
that movie. Tell us about the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, you want to
It
tell
was
me that?
really great because what they do is when they're doing independent movies, they always try and get a name or a couple names so they can put it on the poster and put it in the advertisements. So
Right.
meanwhile, the names on this were Bobby Clohessy and Tony Lobianco. But the truth of it is that Tony Lobianco was the head of the Italian mob, and Bobby Clohessy, Robert Clohessy, was the head of the Irish mob, and they were having a sit down. And the very first scene of the movie, they both get blown away. They get murdered. So they're only in the movie for 30 seconds, and that was their whole involvement in the movie. But they're all starring Tony Lobianco and Robert
Oh my
Glassie.
God, 2 seconds.
And the movie is about Sean Young is either the daughter or the cousin or something, and she inherits the mob. So now she's the head of the mob, and she's a tough cookie in real life. No, she's a tough cookie in this movie, and she was great. She was fun, and I was a strip club owner that owed the mob a lot of money, and the guys that got killed loved me because I was a good old guy that got drunk and fooled around with them, but now they're dead, and she wants her money, and like it was it was a stupid, ugly mob movie, not to be redundant, but it was fun. We had a lot of fun. Something really funny. We went to shoot this at a beautiful home on the South Shore. And we're all there hanging out and they're setting up the cameras, whatever. And the guy who owned the house, we were shooting a movie. This is going to sound like a lot. This is absolute truth. He pulls me aside and says, "Jackie, do you recognize me?" And I said, "No. Do I know you?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "I was one of the male strippers in Billy Burlesque's troupe back in the early 80s. Like when we were all starting in comedy, there was a male strip group called Billy's Burlesque, and Billy Dean was a great guy, and they worked so many shows, and they always had a comic open the show up. It was a great gig because in those days it was like $75 to do 10 minutes and then sit around and flirt with the 4,000 girls that were there." And this guy, I guess, had been a male stripper in Billy Dean's Burlesque, and he says, but my wife doesn't know. And meanwhile, he's got this beautiful house and a wife and like 3 kids running around. And she has no idea that he was once a male stripper. I said, "You didn't do anything. You got paid for dancing,
Yeah.
And then I winked at him and said, "I know there's probably a little more to it than that,
Yep.
But that went very well until, I remember why it ended, but I'm not going to say it in case it never came to light. Not with him, but the whole thing. But those were the wild and woolly days of comedy. My God, getting up in front of, 200 screaming, horny, drunk women. And, it's like going in front of a rock crowd. We're here to see the Jay Giles band, but first we're going to hear 10 minutes of Jackie Martling. Like hell we are. Get the fuck off the stage, But it put hard bark on you. It was great. It was great.
How many places did you play on Long Island? Because I saw you in the your name actually. My cat's vet is right across the street from the what's that theater in Bayshore on Merrick Road. You were there last year. The Bayshore Theater or something?
The brokerage or the
it's not the Paramount, is it? No, not the Paramount. That's in Huntington. It's on Merrick Road in Bayshore.
Yeah, no. It's a great room, and
it's a big one. It was a big marquee, and your name was on it. And I was in the vet.
No, it's a great place. What's the name of that place? It's
Cheryl. Do you remember? Because Cheryl's listening. I know it. Darn it! I was going to get.
I worked all these places. Well,
that's what I mean. You must. And I saw you, and I was going to go get tickets, but they said that it was booked. It was.
No, not Governor. Well, I started Governors in 1981. I actually started that club. Governor's Brokerage. What's the name of the place down the South Shore? Jesus Christ!
There's so many of them.
It's very popular too. It was closed for a couple of years, and then Jason took it over.
Did you ever do Dangerfields in the city? Did you ever do that?
You know what? I only worked at Dangerfields. I didn't even work there. I was only there once. I knew Rodney and hung out with Rodney a bit. But they were doing the auditions for a show called Comedy Tonight, which was hosted by Bill Boggs.
Oh my gosh.
This is before Howard Stern. It's like 1985, I think. And they were doing the auditions at Dangerfields. So I went in there, and Tony, who was Rodney's partner, is a great guy. He's 90 years old. He's still functioning. But he's been trying to put together a documentary about Dangerfields forever, and I can't believe nobody's jumped on it. But he's a nice guy, but he's infamously as cheap as you could possibly be. And we did an audition for Bill Boggs, and there was probably 8 or 10 of us that auditioned before the regular show. and there's a bunch of people there, you know. And we did the auditions. And when I was done with the audition, Tony came up and said, Jackie, you know, you really got the crowd crazy. Do me a favor. If you go up there and do a set, I'll give you $75. And I said, sure. So I went up and did a set and he paid me. And after that, none of the comedians could believe it because most guys were working there, you know, night after night for $30, $40, $50. Here, right off the cuff, he gave me $75.
Wow.
And I wasn't anywhere near this. Well, I was working on the Howard Stern show one day a week at that point, and it wasn't too ubiquitous. But cheap tone, and it was worth it because the people went wild, and they must have bought $1 billion worth of drinks. And meanwhile, I got the gig, which was fun. And the guy that drove me in didn't get the gig.
Oh.
And now he's my best friend, Peter Bales, who me and Peter Bales have a podcast called Stand Up Memories. And it's, you know, it's everywhere. It's standupmemories.com. And we just, you know, we interview everybody. We just have a great time. And he's a terrific guy. So, and also I'm working Friday night, March 7th. I'm working at the Stress Factory, Brunswick. No, the Stress Factory, Bridgeport. And me and Peter are driving up to Bridgeport together to do that. I haven't done the Stress Factory in a long time, but that's another. Now, I don't know who listens to your podcast. Is it Long Island or people from wherever?
All over the world.
All right. Well, you people in Bridgeport, come to the show, for Christ's sake. Now, we're all over the world. Are they listening in China?
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're listening. We got
we're on Alexa and Google. We're everywhere.
Should I talk Chinese?
No.
Might as well.
Oh, no, you're good.
All over the world. All over the world. You know, there's something that's so funny because there's jokes that you can't do anymore. And I'm not talking about because they're racist or because they're ethnic or stuff. Just things change.
Yeah,
like I had to get rid of every joke.
Yep.
I had that had pubic hair in it because women don't have pubic hair anymore. And now I just read it's a whole new thing. It's coming back. Like girls are saying, the hell with you. We're not going to shave anymore. We're going to let our bushes go wild. I'm like, now I got those jokes back if you wait long enough. And one of the things that dropped to the wayside, I'll tell you the joke, and then I'll tell you why I can't do the joke anymore. This girl is 40 years old and she's not married. Her mother's bugging. Said, you got to get married. You're 40 years old. She said, Ma, leave me alone. No, you really got to get married. Ma, leave me the frick alone. Mm-hmm. And then one day, the girl walks in the house and she got rice in her hair. And her mother says, you did it. You got married. She says, no, I was blowing a chink and he threw up on my head.
Jesus, here we go.
But you can't do that joke anymore. I mean, forget Chinese or Chinaman. You can't do that joke because they don't throw rice at weddings anymore.
No, they don't.
They're not allowed to throw rice because they're scared that the seagull's going to get a decent
the birds. You know. It's the birds. They blow up when they eat it. That's what.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You give a seagull a piece of rice, for Christ's sakes. You know.
Well, I think it's okay if it's cooked.
Yeah, and I apologize for saying chink. I told that joke for 40 years that way. That joke was not in my lexicon anymore, and that word isn't in my lexicon, but it's still a very, very, very funny joke that makes no sense, which is the best jokes that don't make sense.
Vincenza was just saying hello to you a little while. Remember Vincenza Montes? She was in the movie
with
us.
I love her.
Yeah. She was just saying hello.
How are you doing? How you doing?
She's watching.
Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl keeps popping up. Look at that.
Yeah,
and
Cheryl
Irene,
coming in.
There goes Vincenza. What
there
did
she
say?
is.
I love being on the set, sending no flowers.
Yeah, that's I met her on that set, and I met I met a lot of people. That was a great film to work on. Really fun. And then it came out good. It's a decent movie, you know.
Oh, no, it's very good. Actually,
that
Frank
I've
Carpenter
seen.
movies were very good.
Oh, I'll tell you something I got going.
Yeah.
They come once in a while. I live here. I live on the water in Bayville. And a nice house. You know, it's not a mansion, but it's a fairly decent house. And 5 times so far, they've shot movies or television at my home. They did a whole episode of The Affair here. They did last year, the final the grand finale of the last season of Blue Bloods
Oh.
was shot here, but then they decided to do another season. But then they came to look at my house for another show called The Better Sister for Amazon Prime. And they came and they looked at the house and they said, well, we're going to come back with the director. And they came back with the director and the showrunner. And they said, you know what, we think we really want to use this house. And the woman that was the writer and the showrunner, I didn't know she was the writer at the time. She came up and said, do you still do acting? And I said, well, you know, yes, I do, but I don't because nobody asks me. But I go anytime they ask, I say yes. She said, well, I think I got a role for you in this. So they sent me the sides, you know, the part, and I read the part, and I got the part, and I taped my part. And this show is coming on Amazon Prime on May 22nd, and it's called The Better Sister. And my house is in it, and I'm in it.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
cool.
very cool.
And
Irene,
Elizabeth Banks gets laid in my bedroom,
Oh God.
but not by me, unfortunately. But my house is supposed to be a home in Montauk, and Elizabeth Banks is living there with her boyfriend in the show. And then I'm a bar owner in Queens, and it's fun. I can't wait to see it. I don't know anything about the show. I didn't read the book. I didn't read this. I don't want to know. I want to be as surprised as everybody else. It's supposed to be a great murder mystery. So that's exciting. I mean,
That's
I'm
cool.
telling the whole world about this. I got like 2 lines. You know, somebody sees,
That's all right.
oh,
Be
you
proud.
missed
Be
Jackie. You
proud.
missed Jackie. I was there. Oh, yeah.
Always be proud with something you do. But this Irene wants to know if you ever met Andrew Dice Clay.
Dice?
Yeah.
I go so far back with Dice. We did a show together, me and him, and the girl who was Lenny Bruce's girlfriend when he died, and Ronaldo Ray, who was Red Fox's protege at the time, and a couple other guys. There was about 6 of us. Oh, and Robert Schimmel, who was an amazing comic who died a while back, but he's very dirty and great. We did a videotape called Red Fox's Dirty, Dirty Jokes, which is on the YouTube. You know, I don't know whether you can buy it or see it or whatever.
I think I remember
But
that.
me and Dice were both in that. And he always swore that videotape is what launched him. That's that, you know, I mean, Rodney seeing him and putting him on his show was a whole big deal, but he thinks that's how his name got around. But I knew Dice from way back at the East Side Comedy Club. I used to break his balls and call him Andrew. You know, because his name is Andrew Silverstein. Yeah. You know, he's like
I know. I heard about that.
He's a raging Jew, and meanwhile he's I'm a tough Italian. You know, but he's a great guy. He's a really good guy. I've seen him off and on forever and ever. You know, I like him.
That's
That's
cool
good.
then. See, so Irene, yes, he did. Irene
also,
was like,
Irene also asked. Irene asked, "What was your favorite movie that you were in?"
Well,
Yeah.
by the way, Irene, that whole thing I just said about Dice, I made that all up.
Listen, one thing you got to remember: never trust a comedian.
No, don't worry. I'll let you know. You know, every time you do, probably doing private parts was the most fun. Because I got to sit next to what's her name, the beautiful porn star. Who's the gorgeous? God, I can't believe my memory is just totally shut.
I know who you're talking about.
We know who you're talking about. We know the movie. So.
And I got to sit next to her in all her nudity for like 2 or 3 days. Me and her and Howard were shooting the scene of the first girl that ever came into the radio station and took her clothes off. And so as she took her clothes off, she was handing her clothes to me, and I was folding her bra and folding her panties for no other reason except I didn't know what the hell else to do. Jenna Jameson.
Yeah, Janet Jameson.
And what's so funny, when they filmed that movie, you know, the unions have such incredibly strict rules. You know, they only shoot from so-and-so to so-and-so. And even when they come to shoot at your house, they could set up your whole house. You don't see anybody Saturday and Sunday. If they're set up to do something, they drop what they're doing on Friday and they come back Monday morning. There's no work during the weekends. And it was really hard for Howard because he had to do the radio show. So the way they did the movie, it was called French Hours, I think it's called, which means they had to have a complete buffet laid out, completely stocked for the entire run of the shoot. So people could eat when they wanted to and could grab what they wanted to because time was of the essence. And it was so funny because in between takes or in between setups, Jenna would go stand at the buffet table and all she had on was a robe, but her robe was hanging open and like her snatches hanging out and her boobs are hanging out and the techies, they're like bumping into each other and spilling their food. Oh, it was just so funny. The making of Private Parts itself was a movie, you know. And she was one of those beautiful girls, is one of those beautiful girls that was absolutely perfect. And then the next time she came on the show, she had breast implants and her boobs were a little bigger. And next time she came on there, till they got so ridiculous, like she started out perfect. And these girls keep adding to their boobs because the bigger the boobs are, the more they get paid at these strip clubs. And it's a crime. Yeah. You know, Jesus Christ. You know what they say, Sal, more than a mouthful is a waste, right?
This is very true. I'm about to take matters into my own hands right now after listening to that.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
So I hope that answered your question, Irene. Hope that answered your question.
You know, hey, Fran will be very interested in this. I don't know if you remember, Jackie. They filmed the scene on Woodhaven Boulevard in Queens. Do you know that old movie theater that used to be an X-rated movie theater?
Oh my
God!
God!
The scene where it's supposed to be the scene in the. Oh wait, Fran didn't see the movie. In Private Parts, when.
But I know the theater.
Huh?
I know the X-rated movie theater. Don't ask me how, but I never went in, but I know.
They used that movie theater.
That was the theater where they had the premiere that that Linda Blair was in or whatever or whoever she was supposed to be.
Yeah,
right.
You know,
that was the movie theater right on Woodhaven Boulevard.
Yes.
And they filmed it really late at night, so nobody was around. You know,
that was one of the things that pissed me off. In the movie, Howard and Fred Norris, the other writer, are in the bathtub with the naked girl. Okay. In real life, in actual real life, that was me and Howard and Jessica Hahn in the bathtub in Philadelphia. And he played it up the next morning on the air like we had a full-scale orgy. Meanwhile, we were in the bathtub for about 15 seconds, and I had my pants on. But he made it sound like and my wife went absolutely batshit, and it was a huge thing on the show. But it was the three of us in the tub. So I almost get divorced over this stupid incident. And then I'm not even in the bathtub in the movie. I'm like, you fuck, what are you doing to me? What can you do? What can you do?
How much of the movie was real and how much of it was added to the movie?
Yeah. About 8 inches. It's all basically true, but basically that's true, funny. Basically bullshit, everything gets twisted and turned a little bit here and there, but everything on the show was twisted and turned. And the things that maybe weren't real weren't instrumental into it didn't matter, but the gist of it was fine. The timeline for me actually sucked because they had it look like I just showed up at the very end after they had already become huge stars. Mm-hmm. And the truth of it is, when I got there and we went to mornings on K-Rock, that's when the rocket ship took off and we all traveled to Pluto together for the next 15 years. And that was just at the end of WNBC. And all of a sudden I showed up and
oh, wow.
But it was just an amazing time. Just an amazing
You ever
time.
meet Imus when he was working with Imus?
That is one of the great stories of all time, is all the time that I've been on the radio and been doing comedy and the amount of time I spent in the NBC building doing the Stern Show. Not once in my entire life was I ever in the same room as Don Imus. And I don't know, it just that by the luck of the draw or the whatever you call it, I just never was in the same room. I mean, he used to say horrible things about me on the air when he was saying horrible things about the rest of the show, but I never met him, by all accounts, he was very funny, and by all accounts, he was a total jerk and, an idiot and a drunk and brilliant and all those things you have to be a Don Imus, It was really funny because when we started, when Howard started NBC, he would, in the beginning, him and I were tight as thieves. But then he started, calling him an old man and breaking balls and saying crap about him. And Imus went to management and said, I don't want that guy talking about me, because Imus was at the top of the heap. And it's so easy for the guys coming up to throw rocks at the guys at the top. And Howard was so incensed, like, that's bull crap that I can't talk about him and I can't say stuff. And he was so mad. And then 20 years later, here we are, and Howard is at the top of the heap at K-Rock, and Opie and Anthony come on, and they start making fun of Howard. And Howard went to management and said, I don't want those guys talking about me. Just like Animal House, a complete 180.
Yeah, 180.
Because it's so easy to be a guy in the woods that's throwing sticks and stones at the guys walking by,
Yeah.
But that's the game, Once you're on the top, the only way is boom.
So
everybody targets the top guy always. Go ahead.
So what do you got going? Like, you're going to be doing anything? You said March. You're going to be out in Connecticut, right? That's Connecticut, correct?
I'm doing May 1st. I mean March 1st. I'm at the Suffolk this Saturday.
Okay.
And March 7th, I'm at the Stress Factory Bridgeport.
Okay.
And March 14th, I'm at a restaurant on Staten Island with a big, beautiful room called Max's Esca. Working for Dino from Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club. He's great. And then I don't have another gig till like right now. I mean, it's not booked yet, but April 19th, I'm doing Catch a Rising Star down at the Princeton Hyatt, which is a great gig. And I think I'm doing this Paisan Con. I can't believe it's an Italian signing festival, and it's got the word con in it. It should be. I know. It should be the con. It's hysterical.
That's a big festival.
I do a million different podcasts all the time.
That's a big festival, though. You're going to get a lot of people coming there. That's a big deal.
Oh, you've been there?
I know people. I know all the people. I know most of the people that go there, and it's a big thing. It's really a lot of people show up. So it's
all right. So maybe I'll do it. Sounds, it could be fun. I love doing those things.
Yeah.
There's such an array of characters. Like the first year that I did one of those Chiller Theater signing things, I was sitting next to Richard Kyle. Do you know who that is? The guy who played Jaws. The guy who played Jaws in James Bond. His head was the size of a house. And on the other side of me was the first Playboy Playmate. She was like 1,000 years old, but she was very, very sexy in 1954,
Oh, jeez.
And Marky Ramone was across the way. And I had a girlfriend, and what's his face was there? The guy that played the Sesame Street character, Big Bird.
Oh, Big Bird.
The guy who was Big Bird. The girl I was with was more excited to meet Big Bird than she probably would have been to meet Frank Sinatra.
Oh, God.
It's so funny.
I was there that weekend. I was there. I got pictures of me and you there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How was your hair? How was your hair?
It's probably just like it is now, a little darker now. I want to talk about something right now that Gene probably never saw, and Fran probably never saw, and a lot of people probably never saw. It's the Jackie Martling Joke Man documentary.
Oh,
done
in 2023.
Fran,
Excellent.
You should, if you want to get to know me, you should. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
it's only $3.99. So get your boyfriend or your husband or your son or your grandfather.
I don't have any boyfriend or husband, but I do have a son. I'll say it.
I watched.
Well, tell your son. Tell your son to play it. How old's your son?
39.
Oh, he'd love it. How could he be 39 if you're 39?
I wish. Oh, yeah, hallelujah.
No,
Maybe
it's pretty good.
Here up, I'm 39.
Everybody seems to like it. So give it a 2.
Well, I tell everybody I'm 20 years old with 44 years of experience.
That works.
That makes me 64, right? 64.
Jesus.
20 years old.
I couldn't even tell you who was president when I turned 64. Time is flying by, man. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christmas.
Tell me about it. Tell me it's flying all right.
Oh, and in the documentary, there's a lot of cool stuff. You guys got to watch it. Jackie,
I'm going to watch it.
Hanging out with Les Paul, the guitar player.
Wow.
Les Paul.
He was a very good friend for a long time.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that in the documentary. Also, Sean Young is being interviewed in there. She's talking about when you're doing gymnastics. I said, holy shit.
Yeah, you know,
I
it's
couldn't
very
believe
funny. My sister has twin grandchildren that are a little over 5 years old, and today they went to gymnastics. And I said to my sister, I said, tell them that they call me Jampa. I said, tell them Jampa was a gymnast. I can't wait to, because it's ridiculous that I have that footage.
I couldn't believe it.
This kid that was in the same little town as me, we're from this little town called East Norwich, which is just south of Oyster Bay.
Oh yeah.
And when we were kids, his father had one of those. You guys are way too young to know this, but he had one of those 8mm cameras that you actually put in a 3-minute reel of film.
I
and
remember.
Then you wound it up.
Not young.
I used to have one myself. And his father came to one of our gymnastic meets, to shoot his son. And I wouldn't even I knew them for years because we're from the same town. And his sister graduated that same class as me from the little local high school. The little local grammar school. But his father took an entire minute of my floor exercise, which is like a good hunk of that. Then you got to take it out and put in a whole new film. Now it wasn't 10 minutes. It was exactly 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And he shot a full minute of me doing my floor exercise. And it just happened to be one of those days where I hit it. A lot of times you go out to do your stuff in gymnastics and you're off or you miss something or you fall. It was probably the best I ever did that stupid routine. And years later, all of a sudden he shows me he's got it on VHS, and then I digitized it. And people freak out when they see it. The best thing is that nobody believes it's me, which is so flattering,
I got a question.
Holy crap. I couldn't believe it, man. You were like doing the flipping over like 20 times.
The truth of it is, it couldn't be more rudimentary what I'm doing. But to people that don't do that, it's impressive. Like, whoa, look at that. And meanwhile, it's a simple backflip, which is, you couldn't even get near the team if that's all you could do nowadays.
Gene,
I got a question. I got a question
Gene.
for you real quick. It's a two-part question. First part of the question is, who is your?
This is starting to sound like an SAT test.
No.
It's a two-part question. Here's the first part.
Who is your comedic influence? In other words,
Sal Portia. Sal Sertia.
Me, baby.
Who is the comedian now? Who is the comedian now that you think is pretty good on the circuit?
Me.
Yes.
I don't know anybody. I don't go to people say, who do you go to see? You got to be kidding. I don't even watch people on, even these little tiny TikTok videos. I very rarely watch them. So many of these people are so funny.
Yeah.
But I go to do a club and the club owner will yell at me like, I booked a guy last week and he had 8 million hits on TikTok and he only drew 3 people. I'm like, what? Why are you yelling at me? You're the asshole that booked him. Why don't you ask him to send you a tape of him making somebody laugh, you asshole? And some of the guys are good and some aren't so good,
Right.
My friend Peter Bales, my good friend Peter, teaches a comedy class at the Brokerage Comedy Club. He's been doing it for 30 years, and people sign up and they come in once a week for 8 weeks, and then they get to do this show at the end of it. And some good people have come out of that, but those people I go and watch because it's interesting. I go to his little graduation ceremony and see people do their first 5 minutes ever, which is really fun. But as far as comedy, people say, well, who's your favorite out of the new comics? And I say, Chris Rock. Meanwhile, he's been around for 40 years.
Yeah, like a long time.
He was one of the new guys, back when,
man. Oh, well.
You ever work
Eddie
with
Murphy's
Christopher
like
Brian
one
Roach?
of the greatest.
You ever work with Christopher Brian Roach?
The what?
Here? Christopher Brian Roach.
Christopher Brian Roach.
He don't know him, I guess, right, Sal?
No, I know Chris Roach. I love him. Where's the Brian come from?
That's his whole name, the whole thing.
Well, listen, I don't know where he grew up or what kind of underwear he wears, but I love Chris Roach. He's a very good guy. He's a very nice guy.
I think we're going to try to get him
my girlfriend, Barbara Klein, is a part owner. She's the co-owner of Omnipop Talent, and they book Chris Roach. You know,
Yeah.
he's a very good guy, really nice
Oh,
guy.
he is.
And you know, I
you
like the guys I know. Like he's opened for me before. Not that he should. He's a headliner, but a lot of guys have opened for me, and I get to see him then. You know, and it's it's a fun thing. You know,
Yeah. So
but
you
you
were
can't
born.
keep up. You can't keep these guys. You know, get 1 minute of material and they start booking gigs. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, go earn it. Jesus Christ, you know.
I know. I want my son wants to get into stand up because he's freaking funny. I have to say my son is funny. And but he gets a little sometimes he might get out of hand and I'm like, I don't know if you should go up there now because he talks the talk.
You know,
but he's funny.
That's the kiss of death. If your mother thinks you're funny, you have no place on stage because you're gonna be up there looking for your mother in the crowd because
No,
she
he
ain't
is
after you.
funny. I have to say my son is freaking funny.
All right. Well,
I
tell
want to
him.
get him out there.
Tell him to record every single time he goes on stage, and anything they don't laugh at 3 times in a row, throw it out.
It's
And
true.
eventually he will be a superstar.
It's true.
Irene
It's true.
says she loves this podcast.
She loves this podcast.
Yeah,
Share
she
it.
likes
Share
it,
it.
Irene.
She
Do you
just
know
said, "I love
Facebook
this
took us
podcast."
down already? Facebook took us down already. Go on.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
go
yeah?
on. Yep. Go on.
So it took the show off?
off.
You didn't
So
tell
we're on YouTube
me
right now. Live.
you didn't tell me that. See, you guys, when you said, you know, don't curse or whatever, I thought you were kidding around.
That's probably why.
And I never cursed on the radio. The only reason I cursed at all is because I thought it didn't matter. I thought we were doing open-ended. You didn't tell me we were on Facebook and that you were going to get censored. You know, those are the kinds of things that are worth mentioning. Because there wasn't one time that I said anything dirty that needed to be said. Why wouldn't you say something to me?
Wait, Facebook, I heard, wasn't supposed to do that anymore. What's up with that?
Well, YouTube, we're still on. Facebook, they just turned us off. So,
Sure.
Okay.
YouTube is what matters right now because they get most of the hits on that anyway.
well, that's where I'm taking and putting on the address. But go ahead, finish talking. Go ahead.
When did they take us off? I didn't even see.
Just midway, I think.
Oh.
I just got a text
What do
that
you
said the reason they took it off Facebook was because of Sal's hair.
Sal's hair. Oh, there you go.
Definitely because of my hair.
Yeah,
Sal, you got to shave
hey.
it. So.
Hey, I
How about this? I
apologize.
bet you
You got
guys-
thrown off Facebook. But I'm not taking the heat. You got to tell people this.
That's all right.
say Facebook
We've
wasn't
got
supposed to do that anymore.
We got that.
Fran's used to it. She gets knocked off of Facebook every week.
Me too.
Right, Fran? Fran gets knocked off of Facebook like every other week. They put her in Facebook jail.
She just disappeared.
She's gone.
She got embarrassed.
She just got knocked off the
I'm back.
podcast,
My
you know.
son called me, the little brat.
Well, you heard what we said. We said, you know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Frank, can you hear me? Oh, we lost her.
Can you hear us,
Can
Fran?
you hear me?
Oh
We
boy,
can hear you.
I
I
hear.
can't hear anything now.
she can't hear nothing because she got
Oh,
knocked
go
My
on.
off.
son knocked
Back in.
me off.
Go out and come back in.
There you go. Okay, hey, looks better without her.
Yeah, I got more room here. You can
She
see
got
more of
more
my.
bigger screen.
You can see more of my
Yeah, got a
my,
much bigger
my
screen. There.
splendor here.
Hey, you know what? I want to also mention to Gene, if you should watch the documentary, and you'll see Jackie also with Willie Nelson, man.
Oh,
Willie
cool.
Nelson hanging out, having lunch, chatting, right?
Me
You
and
guys buddies?
me and Willie have been exchanging dirty jokes over email for, I guess it must be 25 years by now. I met him when he came on the Stern Show in the early 90s, but then
I'm back. Sorry,
we
guys.
got to be friends. I smoked pot in his van, in his bus, like, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 times, and became good friends with his family. He's just he's exactly the guy you think he is. You know, he's a terrific guy. But he loves me because musicians love dirty jokes. He loves dirty jokes. He loves to tell them. He loves to share them, and we hit it off immediately. You know.
Did you ever?
Glenn Baisley just said something. Gene, what was Glenn Baisley saying?
He
I
said.
couldn't see it.
He
too
said
good.
about your hair,
Glenn
Sal.
Baisley.
He said your hair.
Oh,
Glenn Baisley's a.
right, electric shock therapy.
You're from electric shock
Oh, my hair?
therapy. Your hair gave him away.
No, he looks like his finger is still in the socket.
Paul
That's
Veneer
all right.
says,
Oh, Paul Veneer. Hi, Paul.
Hey, wait. You know,
he
Howard
says hi
Stern's
to,
hair used to be longer than
Jackie
mine.
too.
Now there's a
Irene.
dear old friend. Paul Veneer and me go way, way back, way back.
Yeah, nice guy.
Did you get him started in comedy, or did he was?
No,
was
but
he
I
already-
used to host Rascals Comedy Hour, and they used to put a piano player up on the stage and next to me, and sometimes it would be Paul.
Yeah.
But we worked basically the same circuit, starting like 1979. So we've been pals. That's
Paul's
one
a
of
great musician.
one of the nicest people in the world. You know.
Oh, I love him. He did shows
Yeah.
for us for a long time, and you know he was a musician. He was in a band too. for a
Yes.
while.
Yeah,
He plays piano beautiful.
we all did that crap.
Yeah.
I'm still
Great
doing
fun.
it.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
still
why,
rocking and
why
rolling,
not?
baby.
Why not? I every once in a while I get the damn urge,
Yep.
to play again, and I look at my guitar, and one time it was so funny. This guy that's had a club here on Long Island for 50 years, and he started up a room, and I think it's still going. He said, "Jack, I'd really like you to come, and I want to have guys come in and do a set. Each week have somebody come in and do a set, and I want you to do the first one."
How you do that?
And the thought of doing my songs again, I was like so excited. I said, "Oh man, Epi, I'll definitely do it. I'll definitely do it." And I got out my guitar and I played a song. And by the time I was done playing the song, the tips of my fingers hurt like back in 9th grade when I first started playing the guitar and your fingers weren't used to it yet. And they hurt so bad. I said, there's no way I could get through a set. I could barely get through that song because your fingertips, for all those years, even if you didn't play guitar a lot, at least you maintained your calluses. But now I could barely touch the thing. But you still get so hungry to do it. Like once you stood up there and played the guitar and sang, whether you're good, bad, or whatever, it's a disease. It's the same disease as telling jokes or doing comedy and getting laughs. That never goes away. Once you've done that, it's almost impossible to do anything else,
It's in your blood. It's in your blood. They say it's in your blood, and you just
doing show business lousy is much better than doing anything else well.
Yeah.
Jackie, 10 years ago when you were on my show, you had your own radio show on Sirius. Are you still doing Sirius Radio?
No,
Sirius?
we were on Howard 101, Howard's second channel. Me and Ian Carr did Jackie's Joke Hunt. We did that for 8 years.
Yes.
And it was an hour's worth of really filthy jokes.
I remember.
Once a week for 8 years. And it was the most fun in the world. And we had everybody, Jersey boys on, and they sang a cappella on my radio show. I had Sid Bernstein on, who was the guy that brought the Beatles to America.
right.
I had Pat Cooper on 5 times, and Bobby Slayton,
Wow.
and just everybody came on the show. And it was Steve Sharippa came on the show. Just, an endless string of people. And all they did was come on and read a filthy joke, and it was great. And Sid Bernstein was like, an 80-year-old little old Jewish man, and I had him telling dirty Jew jokes, and he was like so funny. And I had everybody autographed, and he wrote, "If you ever tell anybody I was here, I'll kill you."
Oh God.
I met Sid Bernstein. I was having a meeting with Patrick Clifford, the head of A&R at A&M Records, and Sid Bernstein was there. So me, Patrick, and Sid Bernstein were talking. Sid Bernstein, if you guys don't know, he booked the Beatles at Shea Stadium.
Right.
He's the guy who booked the Beatles at Shea Stadium.
Well, the first thing he did was he brought him to Washington D.C. and he brought him to Carnegie Hall. If you read his the name of his autobiography is it's called Sid Bernstein Calling, and I mean in the mid-30s he was standing on boxes in Times Square screaming at people about what a threat Hitler was. I mean, this guy was a very driven, wonderful character, just a great guy. But he's long gone.
Yeah, he passed away a long time ago. I remember.
The greatest story about him, I took him to lunch at the Friars a couple of times. He was very old, so you had to pick him up in a cab and cart him around. And so I was taking him from the first time I took him to lunch at the Friars. Me and Sandy Hicks, this girl that was very good friends with him too, we're bringing him back to his apartment. And in the cab on the way, he's telling a story. And he's just getting to the end of the story. And he's saying how he got this idea that he wanted to book the Beatles in America. And how is he going to do it? And he said he finagled and did whatever he could and finally came up with a phone number for Brian Epstein, who was the Beatles manager. He says, and I called and a woman answered the phone. And I said, hello, is Brian there? And she said, hold on. Brian, telephone. And he said, I realized that this guy that was booking the top act in the world, the top music act in the world, was a little Jewish man who still lived with his mother.
Oh, Jesus.
And I thought, holy crow. And then after taking a beat, I swear on my mother, he said, but you know, the truth of it is, I didn't think it was all that weird because I was a middle-aged Jewish man and I was still living at home with my mother.
My mother.
So the Beatles got booked in America by a little Jewish man who lived with his mother, calling another little Jewish man in England who lived with his mother. I mean, that you can't make that crap
That's
up.
funny.
Can't make it up. Yeah, I
They,
know.
they changed the world. They changed music and they changed
Yeah.
lifestyles. They completely
Yeah.
changed the world. And here these two guys are communicating from mommy's house. You know, that's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Just wonderful.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's, a lot of
so
those
it's like
days. A lot of
it's almost the end of the show. So now, where can we all see? Like, how can anybody get in touch with you? You're on Twitter.
Well, I've
YouTube.
had an off-color dial joke for 45 years, which is still in operation. 516-922-WINE, which is 516-922-9463. And it always has jokes and then says where I'm working. And it's great fun. People have been calling it for decades and decades.
Nice.
I love when somebody comes up and says, Jackie, I used to call that joke line of yours 30 years ago. And I go, well, dial it now.
I wonder
And they
if
still remember the number and they dial it. Hello, this is
Oh,
Jackie.
that's great marketing. Wow.
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Well, that's how I got governors. And yeah, it's that itself is a really long story. Also, jokeland.com
Okay.
is my website, and it shows all the places where I'm working with a link to all the places to buy tickets and how to see my documentary. And I get my autobiography. My autobiography is still selling pretty well. It's called The Joke Man, Bow to Stern. And I give out my email address. If somebody wants to email me, I'm jokeland@AOL.com. I'm still on AOL. I still answer. I get emails every day that people say, you don't answer these. And I write back, yes, I do.
Look at we,
Oh,
we
that's
got to
cool.
give Paul. We didn't give Paul a shout out. Paul is the guy who
You
made the
always
post.
forget poor Paul.
Hi,
I'm
Paul.
sorry.
Paul, we didn't forget you, brother. I was just getting ready to talk
Paul's
about
the guy that does the
the
posters.
poster.
He makes the
He does
posters.
what?
Made the
He puts
poster.
music on and
Music
everything.
on it. Did you
He's
guys
the
know
one that makes
another
the
thing?
posters.
That was a great poster, except he made it too long. The music was too long. It wouldn't fit. The music
Fit everywhere else. You just couldn't fit it on Twitter.
Yeah, everything else,
Oh.
but Twitter doesn't allow it too long.
It's got to be like less than
Well,
a minute
everybody
or
else
something.
plays
Oh, I also do.
By
I
the way,
post jokes.
you
I
guys
post
probably
jokes
don't know
on
that.
TikTok.
that song on the
Okay.
poster.
Are you
I
on
got-
TikTok too?
I got TikTok too.
Who?
I got so many jokes on TikTok. You know, people, you can go there and spend a
I'm
couple hours.
frozen. I don't
just
see
listening to
Jackie
them.
no more.
Huh?
He said
Where'd
he's
he go?
frozen. He's frozen.
I don't see Jackie. I see buffering.
He said you're
no,
buffering.
We're
I
not
don't see him
buffering. It's your shit.
We're buffering, Sal. We're
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
You got your hair
Somebody
caught in the
talking? Jackie
microphone.
talking?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, he's
talking.
talking.
I'm talking. Francina's
Listen,
talking. Doc,
This
we're
show
all
is a
talking.
joke anyway. It's so
Yeah.
funny because it just, you never know where it's going to go. You never know.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's fun.
Thank you,
Yeah, it
Jack.
was
You know.
fun. It was real fun. I love it.
I love and I love promoting my stuff.
I
You
got
know,
a pee
I'm-
like a
I'm old,
racehorse.
but I'm gonna keep doing it till I fall off the stage. You know, why not? You know, what else are you gonna do?
So
Right?
I'm definitely gonna look at everything you said. I'm gonna finally look at
And if you enjoy
Howard
it,
Stern.
you're gonna tell your friends, and your friends are gonna tell their friends, and that's how I'm gonna get popular.
That's right. You're popular already. Look, you made us
Listen,
We
laugh.
love you, Jackie. We love you no matter what you do. So just keep on
Yes.
doing what you're doing.
That's what I like to hear. Oh, look at that! I'm on low battery on my iPad. See that? We're making just to the end of
See
just
that?
the end of time.
We're almost
and
Oh,
Sal.
also,
done, guys.
I'm on WBAB tomorrow morning at
Thank you,
8
Irene.
o'clock or 7:50, whatever.
Oh,
I go
I
on there
love the
for
BAB. I
a
love
half
it.
an hour here, and then
Thank you,
I've been
Cheryl.
going. I used to go on BAB every morning in 1980. Bob Buckman would call my 922 wine number every morning, and then he would set off a bomb and play the top rock and roll record of the week, and it like doubled WBAB's ratings back then, which I didn't
love
understand.
WBAB.
Ratings, I didn't know. It was just great fun. So I've been around way too long, way too long.
Hey, Jackie, can you do something for me? Can you do
I've been sitting on
sweeper for me?
for too long.
Do what?
A radio sweeper for me.
Yeah, you said
as
too long, right?
What's for what radio station?
Hamilton Radio. Just say who you are, Jackie Martling, and try to keep it clean. But there you go.
Hello, my friends. Somehow you got stuck listening to Hamilton Radio. Nothing but the finest. And you'll really appreciate the visuals because there are none, because it's radio, you idiot. But stay tuned to Hamilton Radio to see things like Brother Sal and Sister Doc and the gorgeous Francine, of course. Now do a real one. Hey, this is Jackie Martling. You're listening to Hamilton Radio. Don't go anywhere. Nothing but the bus. Bus, the best. Right here.
I love it.
Perfect. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank
Thank
so
you.
much.
That was cool.
I love that. Thanks so much, Jackie. Take care, my friend. Nice
All right,
talking.
fellas.
Yeah,
Thank
Jackie.
you.
Peace
All
out.
right, Jack,
Thank
I'll
you.
see you soon, babe.
All right.
Thank
Hope you
you
all
for
had a good
coming on.
time.
We had a good time.
You too. We did. We did.
Take care.
Cheryl, if you're still listening, you owe me.
Uh-oh. I don't want to know.
No, nothing like that.
All right.
Why
All
not?
I
right,
bought her
bye,
a cup
Jackie.
of coffee, and for that, I expect.
Oh.
Oh,
several
Jackie, we're gonna go.
favors.
All right.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
So, who's our guest next week, Sal? Sal, who's our guest next week? And then we're gonna go.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Karen. My
Gola.
voice is fried
Gola.
from the show.
Goler,
Huh?
right? Goler.
Yes, Karen Gola next Wednesday,
He's a good
9
friend.
p.m. I'll be posting the post tomorrow. Yeah,
Okay, I gotta let my wife know because she's an author with her. So
man. Oh yeah,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Karen wrote like so many books.
I
Yeah.
know, but I didn't know that your wife was involved in that. I had
Well,
idea.
no. She writes books too. So they're just
Oh,
Yeah, like co-authors, like
I thought they
authors
wrote books
together.
together.
not
Oh,
together.
yeah.
No, no,
Gotcha.
no.
No. She writes and she writes.
Right.
They're just writers.
All right, guys. Well, say good night, and
Have
I'm
a
ready
good
to
night.
say
It was
goodnight.
another good night. Rockin' show, guys. Have a good night. See you
Thank
next
you, guys.
Wednesday.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.